من عمل صالحا من ذكر أو أنثى وهو مؤمن فلنحيينه حياة طيبة ولنجزينهم أجرهم بأحسن ما كانوا يعملون.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأتباعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. In the name of Allah, the Compassionate, the Merciful, all praise is due to Allah Azza wa Jal, and may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon His Prophet Muhammad, his family, his companions, and all of his followers until the day of resurrection. And today we are dealing with this great principle, great guide for having greatest of manners, which is not spying, not to get involved in spying upon people. Allah Azza wa Jal says in Surah Al-Hujurat, وَلَا تَجَسَّسُوا, and do not spy, meaning do not look at the things that are not disclosed to you among Muslims. We should not look into the very ins and outs of people, particularly things that are hidden, things, information that we may seek and try to find who's entering and who's is coming out into this house. Why is this person wearing such a thing? Why is he riding this kind of car, and so on and so forth? Why is he dressed like? Why is he coming late at night every night? I think he's probably doing something terrible here and there. See, that is the point, is we should not follow what people are doing or their own relationships within the family or the closed circles of their own people, but rather we should stay away from that. We should avoid having this, being busy with the affairs of others. And that's why Allah Azza wa Jal commanded us to not spy and to try to go over walls, or try to look through windows, or try to see what and have this guesswork. Again, this comes after, as we mentioned in an earlier principle, which is not to think ill of other Muslims, not to have negative assumptions. Basically, going step into this is spying, is trying to hurt others, because actually those whom being spied on are going to be somehow feeling harmed by this, as we quote Shaykh Ibn Uthaymeen rahimahullah, who said spying is harmful. The one spied on is harmed by it, and it leads to hatred and enmity. It also leads to a person burdening himself with what is not obligatory for him. You find a spy, God forbid, sometimes here and sometimes there, sometimes here, sometimes looking at that, and sometimes looking at this, and so on. So he has exhausted himself in harming Allah's servants. So you can understand how terrible this person is, who's really spying and looking into hidden things and thinking of what Muslims are trying to hide, because everyone has his own secrets, has his own private life and privacy in his own affairs. We should not inspect. Look, sometimes, when someone, we are riding in a public transportation or sitting in a public place, and then we are looking into our own mobiles, someone would look into it and try to know and sneak into what are we watching, what are we reading, what are we writing, and so on and so forth. I mean, this is part of spying. That's what we need to understand. And the same thing is when people are talking to each other in a public place. Again, we try to get closer to them to know what they're saying. Maybe they are, conspiring to do something bad. That's not the issue. You see, people have their own, they don't want to say something in public, or they don't want to discuss their own special and private affairs, sharing that with others. They need to keep it to themselves. That's why it's important not to spy, not to try to, get into the private and special affairs of other people. And that is going to keep us in peace, in tranquility, and not being concerned with what is not obligatory upon us. May Allah Azza wa Jal help us stay away from all the bad manners and all the bad morals and keep us on the straight path. Ameen. Wa akhiru da'wana an alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
من عمل صالحا من ذكر أو أنثى وهو مؤمن فلنحيينه حياة طيبة ولنجزينهم أجرهم بأحسن ما كانوا يعملون.